Hello and welcome back to the Destiny Global Facebook page where we are live every couple weeks with a success tip that has been proven to help people succeed, and it is free to you, free to share, free to watch. And these are tips that come to you live every couple of weeks. So if you are here and you are watching live, hello and welcome. If you are watching the recording or if someone shared this with you, listen, if someone took their time to share this with you, that means they cared so much about you because, we live in a world that's so fast paced, so go, 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 that if someone actually stopped their day to share this with you, make sure you thank them because that's a person who, it's just a rare human being in today's day and age that was going to take time out of their busy schedule to think of somebody else. And so if you are the person that is actually sharing these messages with somebody else, thank you for teaming up with us. Thank you for being the kind of person that values other people's success. And so tonight, we're going to talk about something, when I was thinking about what to talk to you about, we are in the 5th month of the year. We are in May, which means, if we look back at January or December, so many people were like, yes, it's going to be a brand new year. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. They've got all these hopes and all these dreams. And then February, March, April, most people have quit by February. Some people hang on to March, and for surely most have quit by May. They have given up on their hopes and dreams. They have given up on their New Year's resolutions. And when I say hopes and dreams, they've given up on the things that they said they were going to do just 5 months ago. And so there's one thing that I truly believe that has been a really big part of my success. And when I coach men and women, no matter what it's in, no matter what I'm coaching them in, this is a foundation for success. And without doing this one thing that we're going to talk about tonight, it is going to make it extremely, extremely, extremely hard for you to succeed at anything. But by doing this is kind of like a secret weapon. This is kind of like huge when you actually wrap your brain around this. And here's what I will tell you. It's so simple that most people overlook it. It's so simple that most people are like, yeah, I've heard that before. However, hearing and knowing are two completely different things. So many times when we go to talk about success, people will be like, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. No. How do you know if you know something? You know if you know something if somebody can look at your life and your life has the fruit of it in there. Like if that's how you know something. Otherwise, you've just heard it. You've heard somebody say it, but you don't actually know it. And I can remember having that revelation in my 20s. And because I was kind of like that girl, maybe you've been like that too. I'm like, yep, heard that, yep, know that, yep, I know that, yep, I know that. I was extremely unteachable. So tonight, for those of you that are on here and hear this and apply this is going to be a game changer for you. And so there are some laws when it comes to success, right? There are some laws that are in effect whether you know it or not. And I want to give you an example. So if you take the law of gravity, for example, the law of gravity is in motion, whether you believe in it or not, whether you know about it or not, whether you think it's all hocus pocus or not. The law of gravity doesn't care what you think. It is a law and it is there. And the law of gravity says no matter how bad I want this pen to float, if I let go of it, it's going to fall. Even if I hold the pen back up and I tell the pen, stay, you little stinking purple pen. If I drop the pen, if I let go of it, it's still going to fall. Why? Because the law of gravity is in effect. And there's so many different laws of success. And tonight I want to touch on one. The truth is, we could be here talking about this one law that we're going to talk about tonight for so long, but we're just going to touch on it. We're going to give you introduction to it. We're going to give you some tips to help use this in your favor, to help leverage this law for your success, for you, not against you. All right. So it is the law of life and death is in the power of your tongue. And so the life of words. So if you, I want to use this as an example. So when I first heard about this law so many years ago, I heard it was in the Bible. I heard it was a law of success. I heard it could work for you or against you. And it was like, okay. And then I had also heard things like that you will never surpass the opinion you have of yourself. And if you think about your opinions are nothing but a bunch of words. Everything we say, everything we do is nothing but a bunch of words. We put our thoughts into words, we speak them. And so whatever it is that you are saying is like seed. I want you to imagine that your mouth is a seed shooter. That whenever you speak, there are seeds coming out of your mouth and they are going into the ground. So every time I'm talking, I'm planting seeds. And what happens when you plant seeds in the ground? Well, they sprout. And one seed can eventually turn into an entire apple orchard. Like every apple orchard started from one seed. Every big garden started from one seed. Every forest started from a seed, things multiplied, and then before you know it, you have this big giant orchard that is all around you, right? And so life and death is in the power of your tongue. And this success law is working whether you realize it or not. And 98% of the population is not even aware of it, let alone watching what you're saying. So I'm going to give you a couple keys on how to use this in your favor and help you succeed. So 98% of the population is out there running around worried about what everybody else is saying about them. They're worried about everybody else's opinions, what everybody thinks, what they're saying, if they like what I'm doing, if they don't, if they approve of what I'm doing. But there's one person, so we're worried about everybody else's words. But it's not everybody else's words that actually affect your success unless you make their words your words. If you take their words, and most of us are living a life where we don't even know who we are. We don't even know where we're going. We don't even know what we want. Most of us are a culmination, or it's easy to become a culmination of other people's opinions, other people's words. We gobble up what everybody else thinks. And if you don't know who you are, you will be who they say you are. And so where I really want to talk about life and death and the power of the tongue is, who are you? Who are you? What do you want out of this life? If failure wasn't an option, what would your life look like 1 year from today? If failure wasn't an option, what would your health look like? If failure wasn't an option, what would your business look like? If failure wasn't an option, what would your finances look like? If failure wasn't an option, what would your marriage look like? What would your family look like? What would your home look like? And so it's really thinking about, for some of you, for the first time in a long time, if failure wasn't an option, where would your life be? Where would it be? Where would all these areas be? And then once you have that established, that's obviously what we call a goal. Okay? Now here's where your words are either going to help you get to the goal, or they're going to keep you stuck where you've been. Okay? Because 98% of the population is speaking, they're using their words to fuel their past versus their future. They're using their words to remind themselves of the things that they haven't done, they can't do. Things like, you have a goal, you have a dream, you have a hope, you have a hope of what the future is going to be like. And then we say things like, well, that won't work for people like me. Or, I shouldn't get my hopes up. You know what happened last time? I look like a fool. I failed. I could never do that. I want to, but it doesn't really work out for people like me. You know, my family, we just aren't made to succeed. We have these words that are fully. And listen, I can only speak on this because I've been there. I can only speak on this because I've done it. I can only speak on this is because I lived as that person for so long, where I wanted to succeed. I had hoped to succeed, but my words lined up with who I was, not who I wanted to be. And I'm going to give you a very specific example of this because this was an area that I really wanted to succeed in inside of my life. So I spent most of my life as a morbidly obese woman, as an overweight child, and ultimately maxing out the scale at 288 pounds, busting out of a size 22. And it was crazy because I had tried to lose weight. I didn't want to be overweight, but none of the diets worked for me. And even when I would lose some weight, I'd lose a little bit of weight, and then I'd always go, like, I'd lose 50 pounds, and then I'd go find 51 of them. And so I would say things like, I don't like working out. I don't like vegetables. You know, my mom was fluffy. My grandma was fluffy. I'd say things like, I'm big boned. And what you've got to understand is whatever you say is your truth. Whatever the words you are saying, it is your truth. And so if I believe I am big boned, if that is my belief, someone who believes they're big boned, how do they act? They act like somebody who's big boned, which proves, so now I think I'm big boned. I act like I'm big boned, which proves, see, I'm big boned. Someone who has the truth of, I don't like working out. And I'm giving you this very specific example because this was a real example in my life. You can use this in every area. So someone who believes they don't like working out. I say I don't like working out. If that is my truth, if that's what I'm saying, and again, whatever you're saying is your truth because your brain does not know the difference between a truth and a lie. It only knows what you tell it. That is it. So if I'm saying I don't like working out, or I don't want to work out, or oh, I'm sore, or oh, I don't have time. My brain processes all that as I don't want to do it. So if my truth is I don't want to do it, I don't like to do it, I'm not going to do it. If my truth is I don't like if I'm saying I don't like vegetables without butter, if I'm saying I don't have time to meal prep, if I'm saying I don't have time to work out, what is my truth? And so your brain's job is to move you away from pain, away from things you don't like, towards things you do like, towards things that don't cause you pain. And when I had this revelation, it was just like, it cannot be this simple. Like I can remember laying in bed thinking, it cannot be this simple. Because all of a sudden I had the revelation that if my brain doesn't know the difference between a truth and a lie, and I want to lose weight, and I'm going to do this thing where I combine fitness with nutrition because all the before and afters I look at, those are the bodies I want. And that's how I picked how I was going to lose weight, right? Is what before and after did I want? And I was like, okay, so if I don't like working out, but life and death's in the power of my tongue, and I want to trick my brain into success, get it away from failure and get it down the success path, then I just got to say, I like working out. And I'll start liking it. It can't be that simple. So I started testing this out in every area of my life. One of the things I changed back in 2014 was I was no longer going to speak any death. I was only going to speak life over this area. I wasn't going to say I wasn't going to speak to who I had been. I was only going to speak to who I was becoming. So in an instant, I thought, okay, I love leg day. I love working out. Oh, I can't wait to work out. If I really liked working out, what would that look like? I would actually sing like on my way downstairs to the basement to work out. So I can remember walking down my stairs and I didn't even mean it. I didn't love leg day. Wasn't excited to work out. I was not excited about leg day. But as I'm walking down the stairs in my size 22 workout clothes, I start singing the song by Montel Jordan. This is how we do it, sha-la-la-la-la. I'm not even gonna sing because I'm not a great singer, but I did it anyway. And all of a sudden, it was the craziest thing. Do you wanna know when I stopped hating working out? When I stopped saying that I hated it. Do you wanna know when I started liking it? When I started saying that I liked it. Same thing with vegetables. When I stopped complaining about what old Carmen didn't want, and I started speaking into what lined up with who I wanted to be, all of a sudden, I started having success in this area that to me was my nemesis. Listen, we all have this one area in our life. Like if we look at our life, we have areas we've succeeded. All of us do. And we all have areas that we've struggled, where we've tried and tried and tried and it's not working. No matter what we try, it feels like we're hitting this glass ceiling. We're hitting this brick wall. And what I'm going to tell you is that for me, my Mount Everest, my brick wall, my glass ceiling was my health. I had had success in business, but I could not get the weight off. And it was like, how can I be so disciplined in these other areas? But this is freaking a mess. And there were lots of little things that I did, right? Lots of little things I did. But I'm going to tell you the biggest thing I did, the first thing I did was I started changing what I said. I started making sure my words lined up with the person I wanted to be, not with the person I had been. I started making sure that what I was saying, what was coming out of my mouth, lined up with where I was going, with my future that I wanted, not with my past. And all of a sudden, when I took control over my words, I lost 161 pounds in 13 months. I went from a size 22 down to a size 2. Everything in my health changed and has been changed ever since. And I have used this same exact technique in every area of my life. When I was a young wannapreneur, I wanted to be a successful entrepreneur, but I didn't know how. So I was a wannapreneur. It was like, okay, I started speaking like the entrepreneur I wanted to become. I started speaking life into this is going to work. This is going to succeed. I am so excited. When I had a learning moment, when I had a failure, by the way, failure is only final if you quit. You either grow, every failure, there is opportunities to learn built inside of them. There are lessons if you look for them. And so as I started to change my language, as I started to change my words, all of a sudden these dreams that this girl that grew up broke had, that seemed impossible at times, started to happen. And so what I'm going to tell you is, yeah, you need to get the first steps to success to get the skill. Yes, you need to learn. You need to sharpen your communication skills. There are always skills that are going to help you succeed, that are going to help you go farther, faster. But the thing that we have got to start doing right now is we've got to make sure our words line up with who we want to be. If you want a good marriage, then you might want to make sure your words are lining up with the husband you want. Literally, I could give you so many examples in so many different areas in marriage and business and finances, because whatever it is you say, it comes from the way you think. And the biggest difference in those that are succeeding and those that aren't is the way they think. That is the number one difference between 98% of the population and 2% of the population. It is the way they think. And when you start changing the way you think and you start controlling your thoughts and you start thinking differently, you start speaking differently, and then you start having different results. And then instead of you going to everybody else saying, how is this happening? How are you succeeding? People are now coming to you saying, how? What are you doing? How have you had these crazy results inside of your life? You start becoming the person that everyone else is asking what you're doing. But it's got to start with what you're saying. It's got to start with your words. You will never surpass the opinion you have of yourself. You will never say, I'm a loser, and become a winner. You will never say, I suck, and do great things. You will never say, I can't, and then prove that you can. Before you can, you've got to say you can. Before you do great things, you've got to say that you're going to do great things. And the number one reason why most people won't do this, they'll hear a message like this and they'll go, yeah, that just sounds too simple. It's got to be harder. Success isn't hard. It's not hard. You talk to any successful person, they're going to tell you you've got to be in control of what you're saying. You've got to speak to who you want to be, not to who you've been. And so just try it out for 30 days. Figure out what you want. Ask yourself the question, if failure wasn't an option, what would this area of my life look like? Who would I look like? How would that person act? How would that person think? And then start speaking to that. We're going to go in depth more on this at First Steps to Success, which is coming up August 11th, 12th, and 13th in Atlanta, Georgia. It has been several years since we've been in Atlanta. We are going to be back in Hotlanta. What I love about Atlanta is it is a central location in the United States. It's easy to drive to. It's easy to fly into. Prices are like normally super cheap coming into Atlanta. We are going to be staying at the Sheraton Atlanta Hotel in downtown Atlanta. It's a very short shuttle ride from the airport to the hotel, a short Uber ride, all of that. And we are going to be equipping people to succeed. We're going to be equipping people at this event to have their best quarter 3, their best quarter 4, to have their best back half of the year, to actually hit their goals, to hit their dreams, to explode their income, to annihilate their competition, to have a blast while they're doing it, to become more efficient than they've ever been, and help a crazy amount of people in the process. And so we have in-person tickets as well as virtual. So make sure to grab your spot, grab your ticket. If you can't be there live, at least get your virtual ticket, but you have enough notice. This is only May. We're not going to see you for 3 months. So May, June, July, August, 3 months from the time you're seeing this. Get your hotel booked, get your ticket, start watching airfare, and make sure to watch the Destiny Global Facebook page. There's going to be several cool things taking place at this event. Actually, one thing in particular that has never happened at a First Steps to Success in the 30 years that it's been happening is going to be happening live in person in Atlanta. So we're going to have a whole bunch of announcements coming in the next couple weeks. Make sure to be watching. If you know someone who's military, we have military scholarships available. So make sure if you haven't, like the Destiny Global page and be watching for those updates and announcements. So thank you so much for watching tonight. We will see you on the next success tip right here on the Destiny Global Facebook page.